Good afternoon. Welcome to CS Week Success Stories, second Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern webinar series. These webinars are the top-rated workshops from our attendees for Conference 39, held last May in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am John Sild, and I'm the CS Week, and I'll be your moderator today. Denise Mullendore will be your host. CS Week in Conference 40 will be April 25th through the 29th, 2016 at the Phoenix Convention Center in Phoenix, Arizona. This program will be recorded and available for playback, along with our other archived presentations. You can find it under the Educational Venues Webinars link on our website. Attendees are encouraged to upload questions in the Q&A panel on the lower right side of your screen. Be sure to click the All tab to make sure that we will see your question. We'll wait until the end of the presentation to answer the question. Today's program, Transforming the Call Center, Qualitative Focus, Quantitative Results. Our guest speaker is Fred Daum. He's the Director of Customer Contact and Billing at PSEG Long Island. He's currently responsible for all call center in the Long Island Choice and Billing operations. Fred is on the Board of Directors for the Museum of American Armor in Bethpage, New York, and has an executive MBA from the Irvin K. School of Business at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. He also serves on the CS Week Planning Committee. We want to welcome Fred, and Fred, just take it over.
Thank you, John. I'm going to go to the bigger screen here, and we'll get started. I want to thank everybody for attending. I am well aware that Tuesday after a long weekend in September is a very busy day in our operation. So I'm going to get started. We're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a little background about our company, our targets, metrics, and some of the challenges. PSEG Long Island, who we are. We took over electric operations for LIPA January 1st, 2014. We have a 12-year contract for those operations with LIPA. We serve 1.1 million electric customers, and that's in Nassau County, Suffolk County, and Rockaway, Queens. We're located in Melville, New York, as you see from the pictures, snowy Melville, New York, and we take about 3 million customer calls a year. Our operating service agreement with LIPA is kind of unique. I just want to go over it because it'll give you a context of why we're doing some of the things we're doing. So we have 4 main targets in the call center for this agreement with LIPA: average speed of answer, abandonment rate, after call surveys, residential and business. That performance was baseline in 2013, and our goal is to get 2013's performance to a certain level in 2018. So if you look, for example, our average speed of answer, 2013, it was 92.5 seconds. We need to get to 26 seconds by 2018. Abandonment rate, 4.2. We need to get that to 2.2, and then you can see the surveys, 63.7 to 83.3, 43.7 to 83.3, and that's on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being very satisfied, and 4 being satisfied. It's only 4s and 5s count. So as you can see, very aggressive targets. Give you some of the challenges we've had. So one of the things we took over in 2014, this is the headline, the front page from Newsday, who does a lot of utility coverage. And if you notice here, it says VALS, better storm response and customer service starting today. And one of the things we said during transition was we'll be fine as long as we don't get out of the gate with a big storm. And here's the headline, January 2nd, 2014, storm warning. So we jumped in with both feet, and our employees responded great, but this was just one of our many challenges. To go a little more into 2014, it really was a year of transition and challenge, right? So we're tasked with improving those OSA metrics that I already detailed. First quarter of the year, we took over. We had 5 named winter storms. 2014, the Q2 and Q3, we had some big IT transitions. transitioned our phone lines, upgraded our workforce management, implemented a new IVR with NUANCE, implemented a new ACD call routing, implemented new voice recording, new quality plan, transitioned the customer service system from the previous provider to PSEG Long Island. That's our customer system. Set up a new data center, and new phone lines and new phones and computers on everyone's desk. And then it wouldn't be the end of the year without some budget issues and then some more storms. So big year of transition. Want to provide some context for some of the things we're able to accomplish. I'm just going to give you a little thing, words I manage by, a quote by William Arthur Ward, and I really hold this close, right? The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the realist adjusts the sails. And as you can see from what we were tasked to do and from the challenges we had, it was time to adjust the sails. And the organization responded accordingly. We made a big move to quality, and I'm going to highlight these 4 areas. And first was our interviewing. We have what we call now Interview PALOOZA. We've really changed fundamentally how we hire in the call center. So when we put up our first posting externally, we've got 1,200 applicants. We utilize a HireView digital interview process. I'm going to have some more slides on that coming up. We took that 1,200, reviewed 800 digital interviews, and ranked the candidates. Of those 800 we reviewed, we got down to about 125. They took our pre-screening test. We had 100 successful candidates. And then we have 1 day of interviews, and that's what we call the Interview PALOOZA. We utilized 77 associates from 27 different departments to help us interview on a Saturday. It was a full day, and we got 35 positions. We took the 82 down to 35, and I'm going to have some more detail around this. But this was a big change in the way that hiring was previously conducted, and we really feel we raised the bar. A little technical difficulty here, trying to advance the slide. There we go. So we had a digital interview process, and this is where we had an opportunity to ask unique questions to the individual. And what the digital interview is, when HR, after we reviewed your resume, would push you a link on your smartphone, a tablet, a webcam, and you would actually answer these questions in real time on your phone, tablet, webcam, and you couldn't pause, you couldn't come back, and it was a really great way to get some insight into the candidates with them actually not coming into the building, not taking time during the day. We asked unique questions like, what is a key factor in dealing with a challenging customer? Tell me what you're really good at. Tell me about the last time you asked for help. And this was one that we got a lot of interesting answers to. A budget plan averages customers' annual cost and gives them a monthly budget bill to reduce the highs and lows throughout the year. If a customer's annual cost is $1,200, what would their monthly budget amount be? So we got a lot of very interesting answers to that question. I'm going to show you, this is actually what the digital interview looks like. This is a candidate, Mark Beavers, and this would be evaluating his question, why are you interested in working in customer service for PSEG Long Island? And this will give you a taste of what those interviews were like.
Hello, my name is Mark Beavers. I've applied for a position as an associate representative at PSEG, and I thank you very much for this opportunity for this interview. I'm very interested in working in the field of the position of customer service at PSEG Long Island, mostly because having taken the time to read up on PSEG's objectives and its commitment to serving the public through the delivery of electrical services and nuclear products, I know that they have a commitment to excellence and to its people and to the general population here on Long Island and beyond, of course, New Jersey. And with my background and experience in customer service and administrative support and in client relations, I too would like to bring my commitment to excellence to PSEG on Long Island, be a team player to help them meet their objectives of satisfying their customers and generally to make a difference.
So as you can see, Mark was well prepared for that interview. You can see he still put a suit on, sat in a professional location. So these are all these little things when we're trying to separate. How do you get 1,200 people down to 50 people, 35 people? These are the things that you get to evaluate in a digital interview. One of the things that we saw a lot of was folks did not take the time to do this. They sat on the edge of their bed. They were in a T-shirt. They were in a tank top. So these are some of the things that quickly you get an idea of how serious people are about the job. We feel we have a great career we can offer people, great pay, great benefits, and we want to set the bar high.
Hello, my name is Mark B.
Just go to the next slide. All right, so one of the things that you'll see with the digital interview is you can see on the right-hand side the rating and recommendation. You get a lot of information about how many people evaluated them. So this is just to give you a little look and feel of what how HireVue would look if you're doing digital interviews. Non-traditional interview process. Right, big thing is we expanded the process beyond the call center. We had 77 people from varying roles, the majority of which were outside the call center: revenue operations, electric T&D, business support services. Really what our mantra was, and the way we got people excited about participating, is the call center right now is an entry point into the utility. And today, we basically said, today's call rep, customer service representative, it's tomorrow's analyst, tomorrow's supervisor. It could be the person sitting next to you in a cubicle. So the organization as a whole has a vested interest in making sure we get the best possible individual hired within the call center. We conducted 2-hour interview training for the folks that participated. They get a lot of value out of this. Not only was it good for them to learn how to interview, and when you really think about it, there's very few people across the entire organization that get to do interviews, but this also helped them hone their interview skills. Created 25 interview teams. There was morning and afternoon sessions on a Saturday. We did the data integration on site, and again, we had unconventional questions. You saw a sample of those, 2 behavior-based. Very interesting, for the actual day of the interview, we actually had, as part of our interview, was the candidates needed to listen and rate actual customer calls. I'll have a little more detail about that in the next slide. So the results: greater employee engagement across the departments. The candidates got more exposure to the job, and the company got more exposure to the candidates. When I talk about unconventional interview questions, this is a sample. So we had 4 calls they needed to listen to. This is one, scenario 4. A customer was recently shut off for not paying his bill, just made a payment, and he's demanding immediate reconnection. So we listened to the call. The question was, how did the representative show understanding of and responsiveness to the customer's concern? And here's our rating scale. So this was not considered a good call, but what we're looking for is for the candidate to be insightful, right? So a 3, which would be the best rating. The rep was not responsive, the rep was sarcastic, abrasive, showed no sympathy or concern, rep didn't take his or her time to explain the company policies when it comes to disconnection and reconnection. They provide some examples. A bad answer to that interview, in the interview, would be that the rep just took a direct approach, verified that the order was not completed, and immediately issued a new order. So that's just a sample of how we did some unconventional interview questions. Move to quality relative to training. This is where we made some very big steps and some changes. We took a fresh look at training. We looked, and the training modules, it was all transactional. There was no emphasis on soft skills, and there was no quality expectation set in training, no Q&A. It was disconnected from the operations. During training, there was no interaction with the call center staff, very limited mentoring, and the associates were overwhelmed when they came out of training. So we made some significant changes. During orientation, any new employee, new associate, they meet their supervisor and team lead the first day. Previously, they were divvied up at the end of training, so they had no idea where they were going. It provides them a resource beyond the trainers. They also know we show them where they're going to sit, and who their fellow team members are right up front. During the week, the trainers and the supervisors have a tag up. They go over the performance of the associates in training. Performance issues are addressed jointly. We modified their phone time. Every Friday afternoon, they're on the phones with their supervisor. Previously, this was like large blocks of time in between training modules. And this has really helped them being on the phone more frequently, but for shorter durations, making connections to the material they're seeing in class, to how that's going to, how that interaction is going to occur with the customer over the phone. Additional significant changes: supervisor classroom time. Weekly, the supervisors address the class. They provide them safety messages and performance expectations. We've also, as I said, we introduced quality. QA team is a training module. QA team actually evaluates calls and the associates side by side during training. And then this was a big one: feedback. We have every class we do a post-class survey, and then we meet with the class 1 month after they completed class and they've been on the phone, so we can come up with some things they'd like to see us change, do better, more of, less of. And this is where we've gotten, we've evolved to some of the changes that we've implemented. So one of our other moves was for our quality assurance program. This is a big one. We reduced what I would call the hyper-focus on AHT. As I said earlier, we had meetings in the beginning of January when we took over operations, and I was not in one town hall meeting with the representatives where I was not asked what my view, what was my stance, what was your feelings about AHT. It was like a political hot topic. You know, we said that we wanted to move to quality, and we had to do something that actually showed in a tangible way that we were serious about that. So we removed AHT as a measure in the union's gain share compensation. So there's multiple targets an individual has to hit during the year to be eligible for like a 1.5% bonus of their base pay. We took AHT out and we put post-call survey performance in there. Because what we found is we did an analysis, and the CSR, when the CSR utilization rate rose to 75%, meaning they were talking 75% of their time, that's when across the board AHT rose. So we're also very mindful to keep the utilization rate down below 75%, maybe the high 60s. We also eliminated a process that was an escalation for a callback solely based on duration. We found that we were only getting back in touch with those customers 25 to 30% of the time. They ended up calling back in anyway and driving call volume. So we told the reps, stay on the phone, solve the customer's problem. One of the other things we did is supervisors and team leads own the escalations for their teams. Provides a much greater mechanism for feedback to the customer service reps. Also lets them know how the different issues were resolved so they can provide some of that resolution on their own. It wasn't just going into the abyss of someone was going to give the customer a call back. So with all that being said and all the fear around losing the focus on AHT is still a goal. We still manage to it, but it's done where it's compared to how they're doing with quality and some of their other metrics. Overall, when I look at 2014 versus 2013, we saw a 23% drop in supervisor escalations, a 30% drop almost in high bill escalations, and we actually saw the average handle time go down by 3% or 9 seconds. So we lost a lot of the gamesmanship that goes in with trying to manage strictly to AHT, dropped that utilization rate, and so it's a very nice story here, very good improvement. So some of the other things we did for our quality improvements, we have a customer experience organization. We now have a manager of customer experience. We have quality teams. We have a really good partnership with IBW Local 1049. So we are a unionized shop. One of the things we're able to work out with the IBW is to give them a greater role in participating in the quality assurance process. So the team leads, each supervisor team has a team lead. They actually evaluate 2 calls per month of folks on their team. This does not go into their overall score for their evaluations at the end of the year. It's just between the team lead, the employee, Team lead also participates in our calibration sessions. It was an opportunity to give them the ability to do some self-correction of their own membership. And this has really been a big success story for us. The team leads like it. They feel more included. We take their feedback, and it's a great way to help reinforce our quality program. Our team leads also manage the escalated calls. So they're, again, able to provide that real-time feedback to other union members. We've also taken a lot of time to align our quality program with our after-call and JD Power surveys. We, again, have the nice quality module, and we actually created a new quality plan. The new quality plan utilizes our voice analytics and screen scraping. And what that is we record 100% of the calls, we record 25% of the computer screens. That's a very big game changer for us because we only perform quality Q&A on calls that actually have the screens recorded. So there's no need now to go back into the customer system and see what the rep did. You're actually, when you're listening to the call, you're watching what they did on the call. And in full disclosure, we did watch some Facebook posts. We did see some folks buying shoes. We did see some travel plans being made. We've addressed all those things. And the reps know that, that we're watching the screen, so it's been very good. Another big change in our quality plan is the calls are delivered to the supervisors in QA in an automated fashion. No longer do supervisors or QA go in, pick the call they want to evaluate. We drive the calls to be evaluated. So we can do it by call type. Here's some examples: electric service, billing, customer fulfillment. Could also do it by the disposition of the customer. Was there dissatisfaction in the call? Were they a repeat caller? We can also do it by CTI data. So every month, send one long call, one short call, multiple holds. And again, screen scraping for all the QA calls. We integrated the quality form and reporting. So no longer is it managed in Excel. We simplify the targets and the calibrations. QA team actually also calibrates supervisor evaluation. So we're doing QA on the supervisors. And again, I mentioned this earlier, big game changer for us. The IBW team leads perform the evaluations. This has also helped significantly in getting buy-in to the process. This is just a sample of what the analytics screen looks like. I'm not going to go through all these things, but again, it's fully automated. What you see here is this is what the quality form looks like in NICE. So on the left-hand side of your screen, this is actually the QA form. Did the CSR use the proper greeting? Did they verify the caller? And then actually what you see on the right-hand side is a checklist. So there's no reason to type. There's no reason to, we're not doing a lot of things offline. Supervisor QA can go and say, like, for example, did not explain their silence if the silence was over 15 seconds. This also gives us the ability to report at these things at a supervisor and a call center level. So we now know if we have some trends or some things that we need to reinforce to do better, we have the reporting that supports it. We've aligned our quality with our after-call survey. So the first thing you see here on the screen is our 5 survey questions. If you're familiar, you see now these are some of the JD Power questions. And again, on the right-hand side of the screen is the evaluation form. So everything on this call center evaluation form goes back to either a JD Power question, diagnostic question, or it goes back to our after-call surveys. This is a little dashboard that comes out every day in the call center. It's our after-call survey daily report. And what it does in the summary section up here, you'll see what the previous day, what the survey results were. So this was for 8/21. So you see residential survey 92.6, business 94, energy efficiency 100. You can see where we are for the month. You can see where we are year to date. You can see where we were the previous month and what our targets are. You see here residential 5,200 calls, 727 people took the survey, 718 took all the questions. Here's something we really focus on. This is our participation rate. So right now, we don't have our surveys at the individual level. We're in the process of implementing that. So the surveys roll up to an overall call center level. But just through the quality program of having the reps remind the customers to stay on the line to take the survey, we're up anywhere from 12 to 14% at times in our participation rate. Our goal is 15% participation rate. We know that's definitely statistically valid. Really believe when we get the results at the rep level, we're going to get at their level their surveys and their participation rate of their customers. We should be able to go above 20%. What you see over here is we do a calibration of our after-call surveys to our quality program. And we'll take, in the second column, a call that was a 5, we'll take a call that was a 3, and a call that was a 1. And then what we'll do is we'll send that out for calibration. And what you can see is here's 4 sample calibrations, and they, you got for a quality score 90 for those that were surveys that were a 5, quality score 67 for neutral, and in this sample, quality score 54 for those that are dissatisfied. So we're always linking up, is our quality driving our after-call surveys, is our quality driving our J.D. Power surveys. One of the other big steps we made is in the way we approach performance management. So we have a CSR meeting form that we developed. So the supervisors have a bi-weekly meeting with the representatives, which is not uncommon in the call center. And it's in person. It's between the CSR and the supervisor. And what I think is a little unique is instead of just going over the scorecard or just going over the data, right, we moved away from just talking strictly about the numbers. There's 2 categories, quality and metrics, you see on the left-hand side. And then there's really 2 areas of focus. So for quality, again, we ask, what's going well? And we expect the supervisor to fill this out before the meeting and present it to the reps. And we're looking more than what's going well, a quality score of 85. What's making it, what's driving a good quality score? And likewise, we ask, what needs attention going forward? So we're moving away from just presenting the rep with the numbers. And it's the same thing for the metrics, right? If you look here, what's going well? Here's where this employee is meeting expectations. What needs attention going forward? And you can see here lowering some of the talk time and things like that. This is a way to document the interaction. We also document the customer service comment, the CSR comments, and we document the supervisor's follow-up. This has been also very powerful in some of our industrial relation issues. So, when you put about 20 of these meetings back to back and you present them and say, look, someone's not improving their performance, this really goes to eliminating the I didn't know that I needed to do it, I didn't have the training, nobody told me I was supposed to do that. And it really helps if you have cases where an individual is just not meeting your expectations. If you took some time and you filled this out and you documented your meetings, it can really go a long time to supporting any of your IR actions. And it's also a way to ensure the people that are doing the right things are getting the recognition for doing that. Our manager will take 3 supervisors at a time, sit down for an hour, go over these forms, talk about difficult employees, and the supervisors it's a great learning experience amongst themselves, and then she'll also meet one-on-one with the supervisors. So the structure was a big change for us. One of the other things we did with resource management that was a little unique, I call this Win Monday, Win the Week. So what you see on the screen here is a traditional abandonment rate curve in the call center. We know that Mondays are tough, Tuesdays get a little better, Wednesdays okay, and then Thursday and Friday you spend your time over-delivering to try and compensate for Monday and Tuesday. We had the opportunity, we have a billing department, and billing department's about 1/3 of the size of the call center. And what we were able to do is we put them on the phone on Mondays, but even more than that, we had at-home agents in the billing department that weren't taking calls. And after some negotiations and trying some different things, we brought them in on Mondays. And what you see here is having a full billing department on the phone on Mondays. Last year, we flattened out our performance. So you can see we almost cut the abandonment rate in half on Mondays. This has really helped us out in flattening out our results, a better customer experience for everybody. And what the call center does later in the week is they go and help perform some of the billing work as we have extra capacity. So really focusing on, as we call it, winning Monday. What are we doing on Mondays? What are the resources? Once we have a good Monday, we know that the rest of the week falls in the line. We made some technology improvements, as I said. We have a new IVR, and I'm going to let you hear our previous IVR. It was 4 minutes to hear your account balance, and I'm going to let you hear what the new IVR sounds like.
Thank you for calling the Customer Assistance Center for PSEG Long Island. For quality and training purposes, this call may be monitored and recorded. Para español, marque dos. How can I help you today? You can say things like, hear my account balance, or make a payment. So go ahead and in a few words, tell me what you're calling about. Hear my account balance. All right, account information. I've found an account that matches your phone number. To verify the service address, please tell me just your building or house number. 11. Thank you. You currently have a balance of $193, which is due on August 28th. You can say, repeat that, make a payment, manage my bill, or look up another account. You can also say, main menu, or if you're all done, feel free to hang up.
So that actually is a 75% reduction in transaction time for the IVR, which was really, really big for us. There's some other stats for the IVR that I want to share with you. We have new natural language IVR, as I said, transaction time was reduced 75%. Satisfaction, call satisfied in the IVR from 38% to 45%. Authentication, 73% successful in the IVR. Payment, 72% successful in the IVR. And this is a chart for our IVR payment performance. It's a little busy, but if you look in the green bar, the green line is 2013 performance. The blue line is 2014. As you can see, it oscillates right around 30,000 payments, 30,000 payments a month in the IVR. We went live in 2014 with the new IVR, and you can see, you see the arrow, and then right to the right, you'll see 43, 44, 57,000, and then you can see in the orange the 2015 performance. We saw a 65% increase in payments in the IVR, and we know that being able to have that high containment rate of payments is a big impact on the call center, right? Having a customer service rep take those payments over the phone is an extremely expensive proposition. So we're very happy with the performance of the IVR there. Screen pop. This is a unique feature that we're able to implement. So what you see here on your screen, and this is, you see account number and caller phone number, and it's not totally unique that you capture that in the IVR, you pass that on to the agent. But what I would call your attention to is right below the account number, you see caller intent, and then below the caller phone number, you see transfer reason. You remember what we just heard with the IVR. It asks you why you're calling. And we have about 60 different caller intents, which is a collection of about 40,000 phrases that customers say. Anything from top 5 intents: account balance, make a payment, agent request, Spanish agent, or a service issue. So when the IVR asks you why you're calling, it takes your answer and it puts it in one of these categories. So previously, when we were doing the design for the IVR, we were only using that for call routing for when calls come out of the IVR and go to a representative. And what we decided to do, working with NUANCE, was to present these to the customer service rep. We also had the transfer reason. So no matter what type of IVR you have, there's a reason why the call is going out to an agent. We decided to utilize that. We previously were not utilizing that information. So here's our top 5 transfer reasons on the right. Account not found, agent requested, billing general, representative required, pay by phone problem. And what we're able to do is have the representatives actually integrate the intent and the transfer reason now into greeting their customer. We know that one of the J.D. Power diagnostic questions is customers get asked, were you required to provide your information more than once? So when we gather this information, we utilize some of these sample greetings, and the whole idea is to make it one seamless experience from the IVR to the customer service rep. Thank you for calling PSEG Long Island. This is Mrs. Smith. May I ask who I'm speaking with today? Thank you, Mr. Jones. I see you were trying to complete, it could be a payment through our system. Is that correct? I'll be happy to help you with your request. It took some of the agents a little while to kind of get used to that, but when they sensed the satisfaction in the customers, when they repeat back to them why they were calling us, it definitely makes for a nice smooth transition into the call. This is a chart. This is one of the things that I really spend a lot of time focused on, and to me, this is one of the reasons why we do all these different improvement programs is, are you able to reduce your rep handle calls? And you'll see the blue line represents our rep handle calls per month, and the orange line represents rep handle calls in 2015. As you can see, we've seen a nice reduction in the amount of rep handle calls. That's staying on the line, fixing the customer's issue up front, not requiring a call back, reducing escalated calls, handling high bill calls, driving a greater level of satisfaction with the customer that they're confident in the answer they got. And we've seen, if I compare January to July year-to-date numbers, 2014 to 2015, seen a very nice reduction of 20%. This is our OSA performance. I just got a couple more slides, but as you remember, you can see where we needed to get to. So for average speed of answer, we needed to get to 26 seconds. We're at 35. Our abandonment rate, we needed to get to 2.2. We're at 1.4. Our after-call survey results are at 91%, well above the 83. And for business, they're at 89.2, well above the 83. I look very closely at the after-call residential and business because the survey questions are so heavily weighted on the courtesy of the representative and the experience with the representative. It's been my expectation to close that gap, and you can see we're very close there. So good news for us is we have abandonment rate, and our after-call surveys are all at our 5-year targets already, which is a real testament to the hard work of everyone at the call center and within the organization. Give you a highlight some of the things we're working on. We have a continuous improvement program for our IVR through NUANCE. We'll be going into our 2nd year. This is a program post-implementation where you go back, you work together, and find out ways to improve things like the containment rate and change the way maybe you're transferring folks to an agent, and we've seen a lot of benefits from this program. We're working on what I call an availability collaborative with our local union. It has 2 specific tracks, educating the representatives and then recognition and rewards. Like any call center, FMLA, availability issues, they're big, and we're going to work with the union to see if we can try and make some improvements and some headway there. Our post-call surveys are going to be integrated with our NICE platform. They're going to be also integrated into the quality plan. Reps will have their survey results in real time and their participation rates at real time, and it'll be integrated in the quality plan, meaning we could say, send us a call to be evaluated that scored 1s and 2s. Created a hiring partnership with our local community colleges. One of the benefits of the digital interview process is that you can go back and kind of review the quality on a micro level and a macro level of your candidates. And one of the things that we've seen after we've gone through this cycle 3 or 4 times is as the unemployment rate has improved, which is good, we saw that the volume and the quality of some of our candidates was declining. So we're going to partner with a couple of the local community colleges. We believe that with our tuition reimbursement program and folks looking for a career that it would be a great benefit for both of us. We're working on a new bill redesign. We're working on some enhancements to our balanced billing program. We're working through the utilization of voice analytics. We have it implemented, and we're starting to use it. And I will say there is so much data there, it can be a little overwhelming. So we got our direction now, and we're working through that. And we're looking at some additional automation of our quality assurance program using the voice analytics. So do we really need someone to check off a box that said a customer service rep told someone to hold on for a survey, or can the voice analytics do that at a much greater level? So that's just an example. Some of the things we're working on. Again, I would tell everyone, don't be afraid to adjust your sales. And I want to thank our dedicated employees at PSEG Long Island. Without them, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. This is my email address. I know we have a chance for some questions, but feel free to reach out to me. Want a copy of the program? Want to talk about some of the things? I know I speak fast, had a lot to cover, but I'd always be more than happy to spend some time and go over in a greater detail some of the things that we got going on. And John, I will turn it over to you.
All right, Fred. Great presentation. Love the little live pieces that you added to it. That was excellent. So we do have a couple of questions that have come in. The first question comes from Joy, and it's regarding IVR. To ensure customer confidentiality is upheld, how does the IVR authenticate the caller?
So we use we take the number that the customer is calling from, and we go back and do a back-end hit into our customer system, and then we ask the customer to authenticate based on the house number of the premise of record.
Okay. Who performs Q&A evaluations, and how many evaluations are performed monthly each CSR, or does a tool automatically evaluate the calls? Does the Q&A form display or a Q&A score?
So we have a Q&A group that evaluates the CSRs. They will do 2 a month. The supervisors do 4 a month of the same CSR, and the team lead does 2. It's fully automated relative to the calls that are driven to those individuals to do the evaluations, and then all the scoring is fully automated and is displayed to the representatives and displayed to the supervisors.
Okay. The next question is from John. The investment in technology can be a long and expensive process. Outside of technology improvements, what do you believe had the biggest impact on your call center?
That's a really good question, right? Because I know for myself personally, in the previous call center that I managed, I was big on, I need voice analytics, I need this automation. Outside of that, I think 2 of the things that made the biggest impact for us, and I think that there are the things that are not easy, but can be implemented rather quickly, is a full change in the way that you do your training. I think that having that interaction, having that close linkage between the training group and the call center staff is a benefit. It benefits the training group. They know they have support. They know that what the expectations are. Supervisors get to know the reps get to know their supervisors, and by the time we're done our 12 weeks, the associate that is coming out onto the call center floor is so far advanced compared to who was coming out previous to the change. And then I think the other change that has the biggest impact is the way that you do your performance management between the supervisors and the representatives. And, you know, it's tough to know it's tough to know the quality of those interactions, and especially if you have a large spans of control. So by you know, providing this documentation and working with the supervisors and having them, they really, I think at first felt it was a little burdensome to fill out the form, but I think they realize now is when the rep knows and sees the form and knows that the expectation you're setting is one that's not going to go away, it's actually helped make their job a little easier. So those, the training and the performance management outside of technology, I think are two huge impacts.
Great, great. All right, Deborah has written in, what is your formula for measuring agent utilization?
Our formula for agent utilization, I believe it is time on the phone and talk time, hold time, and post-call follow-up work time, after-call work. And I believe that is divided by time that they are scheduled to be on the phone.
Gotcha. Okay. Our next question, can you describe other benefits from the digital interview process?
Yeah, so one of the things that was a huge benefit for us is, as you saw, we had a large volume of digital interviews that we needed to get done. And when we divide them up amongst 5 or 6 supervisors, it gives everybody the opportunity to play a part into selecting the candidates that are going to be in the call center. So that, you know, as again, I'm a realist. I'm a realist, and you know, often the hiring process, folks are disconnected from it, and when you make a bad hire, everyone's like, oh well, you know, I don't know where that person came from. This gives everyone the opportunity to participate in that, and you really do get to see. The folks that are putting forth the extra effort in their desire to want the job, and it's amazing some of the things you see. So it's a great way to look at a large volume of people in a short amount of time.
Awesome, awesome. All right, here's a toughie. Deanne writes in, what is the biggest challenge going to be in 2016 for you?
I think the biggest challenge is, as we went through, as you see, we had a whole year worth of change and people were expecting the change. I think our biggest challenge is once you get through some of these other, you get through some of these things like your hiring and your performance management, is really diving further into our processes and making changes, like I said, as far as bill redesign, balanced billing program, changes that are required, and it's just not self-contained within the call center. So when you need to make changes and you got to bring in groups outside of the call center to buy into that change, that's probably going to be, I think, some of our bigger challenges. We'll get through them, but when everything's under your own control, you can move a little faster.
Oh, I totally believe you're going to get through them. After seeing this, I totally trust you in that. Well, in looking at our time, and we're nearing the top of the hour, I want to be mindful of everybody's time and close our session on time today. A quick note, we want to have all our attendees go to csweek.org to look at our website, and we want to invite you to attend the CS Week in Phoenix, Arizona. That's April 25th through 29 of 2016. Again, Fred, we want to thank you for this great presentation. We want to thank all our attendees for joining us today. And at this time, this concludes our presentation.
Thank you.